you to have them change and to have them do something differently. You believe in what you're saying. You want to convince them. You want to persuade them. Imagine yourself talking smoothly, talking naturally, sounding like you're really interested in the topic, having them become interested in the topic also, having them nod their heads, having them say, I'd never thought about that before. Imagine the expression on their faces of interest, of wanting to know more, of wanting to do something differently. You are changing someone's life. You're not just giving them information, you're having them do something different and do something that's very important to you. Imagine the interest, imagine the applause, imagine us saying, that's something that I want to do now. You have convinced me. You have persuaded me. This is your moment. This is your success. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Ready to go back to bed now? Now that we got you awake, it's time to go back to bed. All right, good. A couple of people came, so let's get evaluations. Alejandro, Majo, you're going to evaluate Sochi. Please let me know if you have any questions. Listen carefully, because still in the last evaluation, some of you didn't evaluate both people. You evaluated one, but didn't evaluate the other. And so I don't know exactly what happened, but listen carefully. And Javier's not here, is he? No. So Fernanda and Guadalupe, I'm going to have you evaluate Miguel. Teresa and Nora, I'm going to have you evaluate Belen. Laura and Daniela, I'm going to have you evaluate Nati.
Sorry, teacher, Nati?
Nati.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then we're going to go over another round. Alejandro and Majo, you're going to evaluate Sofia. Fernanda and Guadalupe. I'm going to have you evaluate Ariadna. Teresa and Nora, I'm going to have you evaluate Jesus. And Laura and Daniela, have you evaluate Ismael. All right. Then I'm going to, Adi's getting kicked out of the room a lot today by her internet. So she may have problems here. Now I'm going to ask Xochitl and Miguel, I'm going to ask you to evaluate Bere. Okay. The good thing is you'll be finished with yours, a little more relaxed. And then Belen and Nati, I'm going to have you evaluate Nicole. And Sophia and Ari, you're going to evaluate Ashley. All right, here we go again. Alejandro and Majo, you'll evaluate Xochitl. Fernanda and Guadalupe, you'll evaluate Miguel. Teresa and Nora, you'll evaluate Belen. Laura, Daniela, you'll evaluate Nati. Alejandro and Majo, evaluate Sofia. Fernanda and Guadalupe, evaluate Ari. Teresa and Nora evaluate Jesus. Laura, Daniela evaluate Ismael. Xochitl and Miguel evaluate Bere. Belen and Nati evaluate Nicole. And Sophia and Ari will evaluate Ashley. Any questions? Wonderful. Okay. Someone who's not presenting today who can take time for us?
Me, teacher.
Who's me?
Monica.
Fernanda.
You.
Okay. Fernanda, take time for us today. Start timing when they start speaking. We're recording. Okay. Anything I'm forgetting? Oh, I'm going to allow screen sharing in case somebody wants to share their screen. That's ready. Anything else? Wonderful. So, Sochit, whenever you're ready, we're ready to listen.
Take a look around the city and you'll notice people using one of the most harmful objects for hours and hours. And probably you will be wearing it too, because it has become a habit. Nowadays, it has become a dangerous habit for many people, and not only because of leisure activities, but also because of online classes, work, conferences, and so on. Even though this object is really useful, it can damage your ears. Yes, this small electrical device is not as inoffensive as it seems, because the excessive use of earphones can cause serious hearing problems. Wearing them for too long or too loudly can destroy parts of the ear that are essential for hearing. But how long is too long and how loud is too loud? Decibels are the units of measuring the loudness of the sound. And earphones can emit a maximum of 85 to 110 decibels, and it is too loud. I have met many people that listen at maximum level of their earphones, and it means that they are having a personal concert in their ears. A simpler way to tell, if you can't hear conversations around you, the sound is probably too loud. Now, too long means that you use your earphones for more than 60 minutes per day, according to the World Health Organization. One of the most common effects of using earphones is that is increasing the earwax that is built up and earwax is collected, and your ears are designed in order to clean themselves. However, wearing earphones can trap the earwax that is supposed to be carried out. Also, it causes disgusting ear infections, and also it causes tinnitus, which is better known as the perception of ringing or noise in the ears. In other words, it is like having a lot of bees buzzing in your ears. Another consequence is hearing loss. Yes, imagine not hearing your parents, your friends, your boyfriend, girlfriend's voice anymore. Imagine not listening to your favorite song anymore. It is terrifying. And the type of hearing loss due to earphones is typically gradual, cumulative, and without obvious warning signs. That's why when you notice the damage, it's too late. You cannot do anything about it. In the ear, there are tiny hair cells that transmit the sound to the brain in order to be translated so that you can understand it. But loud noise can damage those hair cells, and that damage causes them to die. To understand better this process, these are the hair cells that are in your ears. When the sound comes into the ears, this happens. The hair cells start to move smoothly. But when loud noise comes into the ear, they start to move faster. And they go crazy until they get damaged. If they get damaged, they cannot be repaired. I'll try to fix them, and it is not possible. They are damaged, they are gone. If they are gone, hearing loss appears. Solving the problems caused by the excessive use of earphones requires dealing with the major causes. And I understand that you don't want to stop using your earphones. I understand that you love them, that you need them. But preventing these hearing problems implies restricting the use of earphones. You must follow the 60-60 rule. You must keep the sound not more than 60%, and you must not use your earphone for more than 60 minutes per day. Also, you must clean your earphones because they collect bacteria and it increases ear infections. And please, please do not share your earphones, because imagine that the other person has ear infections, and then after that person uses your earphones, you use them. You're gonna get the infections too. I encourage you to take an action. I encourage you to stop using your earphones excessively, because remember, once you lose your hearing, it will never come back.
Four minutes, 59 seconds.
4:59. Thank you. Okay, give me just a second here. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. Here's the next one. Miguel, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start.
You have probably heard countless times that exercise is good for you, especially when you were at school in the physical education class and the teacher was always talking about it. But even knowing all the information given, you refused to do exercise and you used to come up with an excuse like that you were sick or that your stomach were hurting. As there were many students who were always willing to do exercise, so there were students who did not. And yeah, I did too. Until one day that I got sick and I went to the doctor and he told me to lose weight. Since that day, my physical activity changed. The most common thing we know of doing exercise is that it helps you lose weight. But did you know that it improves your mental health and it lowers the risk of developing diseases? A report of the National Institute of Statistics in Geography states that 57% of people in Mexico is physically inactive. And according to the World Health Organization, physical inactivity has been found to be the fourth risk factor for global mortality. So the lack of physical activity is a significant risk for non-communicable diseases, such as stroke, diabetes, and even cancer. And you might be thinking, we are young, we are not going to suffer any disease. But think also about the future. Our health and our body change. If you don't exercise, you will become deconditioned and your muscles get weak. And in long term, the muscles you need for breathing and the large muscles in your legs and arms will get weak as well. Have you ever seen those people around the age of 60 that cannot walk properly while others of 70 can walk better? According to the Dr. Haley Willacy, the most common risk factor for mobility impairment is, of course, the old age, but also low physical activity. Now, all of these problems can be avoided with one simple change, by doing exercise. For what I saw in my questionnaire responses, most of you watch movies, listen to music, and do other things in your free time. So I can say that you have enough of free time to exercise for 30 minutes. Besides, studies have shown that 30 minutes of daily exercise is enough to keep you healthy and in shape. And when I'm telling you to exercise for 30 minutes, I don't mean that you necessarily have to go to the gym. What I really mean is that you should keep moving for 30 minutes. Do jogging, do walking, do exercise, do whatever activity you want, but as long as it is for 30 minutes. Because such time of exercise helps you lower the risk of developing diseases and it will improve your mental health. Do you remember that I told you that my doctor asked me to lose weight? Well, when I started exercising, I did not just lose weight. I actually felt great, like with energy, and my mood changed positively. Ever since, I've been doing exercise for 30 minutes every day, and I can tell you that it really helps, and it is the best thing in the world. And when you do it, you're gonna notice it right away too. In conclusion, if we don't exercise, our body gets weak, and over time, it will be worse. By implementing the solution I have outlined, you'll avoid developing diseases and you'll feel better mentally. So I encourage each of you to make this change today. Do exercise for 30 minutes, prevent such diseases, and make yourself feel better now.
3 minutes, 52 seconds.
3:52. All right. Great. Belen, whenever you're ready.
Everything you want to achieve in life is something that somebody else has already achieved. Every aspiration or dream that you have has already been experienced by somebody else. Since they have already gone through the experience of acquiring what we want today, why not learn from them? Why not learn from their experience? Reading is our secret weapon. It's our key to this infinitive world of knowledge and experience. It develops our thoughts, makes us more imaginative, more interesting, and at the same time, it keeps our brain working. The power now lies on the hands of people that have specific kinds of information. These people can make a meaningful change in their lives and in the lives the ones they care about. All these informations are on the books, and all these readers are mostly the most important people in the planet. The Would you like to know more something about culture, about maths, about physics? There is a book for that. Would you like to learn a new language? There is a book for that. Would you like to know how to cook cookies? There is also a book for that. A place without readers is a place destined to the ignorance and to the lack. And sadly, Mexico is a country without readers. I first became aware of this issue after my literature teacher asked my classmates about different topics and novels, and nobody knew something about it. I have been concerned about this issue ever since, and I did a great deal of research on it. According to the INEGI, from 2016 to now, the reading population decreased from 80% to 72%. This is a huge number of people that stop reading. We must start taking action against this problem of illiteracy. Let us start by taking a closer look to the problem. It will note that in our country, reading rates are well below of those registered by other nations. According to the UNESCO, 2% of the Mexicans, only 2% of the Mexicans have a real reading habit. In Mexico, reading is an activity that, being essential to life and to interact, just very few people practice. Mexicans read 3 books per year, while in other countries like England or Germany, 47 books were reading. This is almost 1 book per week. And even though of that the fact that Mexicans have received some incentives to increase the reading levels, half of the inhabitants say that they don't have enough time to dedicate to books. And in addition to this problem of illiteracy, there are also problems of comprehension. The latest data of the INEGI reading module shows that 80% of the reading population doesn't have an acceptable reading level. Even they don't understand well the texts they read, even the simple ones. Reading is the backbone of our learning. It is considered as the basis of education and development. This is a huge problem. We can be a developed country without reading. There is no for more excuses. If we really care about our country, about our kids, and about the future, we must take action and stay reading. You don't have to read 5 hours a day. Why don't we start with 50 minutes? According to the University College of London, reading 50 minutes a day actives your mind, your memory, and your imagination. Reading any kind of text requires a considerable mental effort because you must understand, deduce, and, re, and deduce and retain this information. And don't forget about that reading also transmits you emotions and sensations that can improve your mood. And who doesn't want to become a more interesting person? Reading, being every day learning something new, gives you that feeling that you want to tell to someone about it. Reading makes you a more conversational person. You could choose one of the topics that you learn by reading to make friends, to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, to get the job of your dreams. I encourage each of you to start reading 50 minutes a day. The future of our country is on your hands, and it's time to start promoting reading in ourselves and in our close people. Reading will take you between a travel between different worlds and will let your imagination fly. And the most important thing is that our country needs readers, and we need our country. It's time to take action against.
Okay,
5:32.
5:32. Okay, thank you. 5:32, those who are evaluating. Okay, trying to see where they're in. All right. Nati, whenever you're ready.
Look at you. You're so nasty. You are to blame for dressing that way. Listen to her pronunciation, her language, her outfit is so strange. You don't deserve the same treat because you're not virgin anymore. Machismo, beauty standards, indigenous isolation, and sexual harassment are some of the problems presented by Anne with an E. Even with the problems presented, we continue to carry the same false idealizations. According to Darinka Rodriguez from El País newspaper and according to INEGI, 66% of women have suffered some type of aggression here in our country, Mexico. And 96% of indigenous people in Mexico don't cover basic needs such as food, clothing, or housing costs because of being indigenous. I have been a victim of sexual harassment and beauty standards, but fortunately, feminism has changed my life. Indigenous isolation is everywhere, but education was changed everything. Those are the reasons for watching Anne with an E. Let's have a look at them. Anne was an 11-year-old girl who had a beauty complex for her past. She didn't believe herself to be a beautiful woman due to beauty standards. This series shows perfectly that endless pursuit of perfect body haven't changed. Even it's getting worse because of all the surgeries one can do now. If men did have relationships or had children with other women, was well regarded. But if a woman did the same, they would defame her and treat her as a prostitute. But do you think that has disappeared? We are in the 21st century and men still don't understand what it means to respect a woman. Of course, not generalizing, but how many times we have been victims of sexual harassment? Even worse, how many times we see lost and murdered women on Facebook? Have things really changed? I don't think so. That's why women started to defend their own rights. Very few women go to college because they were meant to be wives, and that's all. There is a specific chapter where Annie wrote about women's rights and equity, and everyone shouted because they were not used to a new way of thinking and believed that feminism was the key for real women's freedom. But what about indigenous isolation? There are chapters where indigenous are treated as dangerous and bad people. But come on, we have indigenous in our faculty and we don't integrate them into a group of friends because of how they dress or how they look like. And as I said before, nothing has changed from that time until now. But is everything bad in this series? We are supposed to be teachers, and what I like the most about this series is teaching with love. Fortunately, a wonderful teacher appeared into Anne's life, and she was that light that she needed to change others' lives completely. Education was the salvation to these social problems. In conclusion, this series is full of endless stories that you will enjoy and learn more about, such as sexual harassment, beauty standards, feminism, indigenous isolation, and education. And Guirani reminded me that everyone, regardless of gender or origin, deserves the same treatment and the same education. Four minutes, 20 seconds.
4 minutes, 20 seconds. Thank you. I've got a very needy puppy today. Doesn't even let me write here. Stop it. Just a second. All right. Sophia, whenever you're ready.
Think about what you need to survive, just to survive: food, air, fire, water. We can survive for months without eating, but without drink water, we can only survive less than 1 week. The 90% of our body's weight comes from water, and up to the 60% of the human adult body is water. We are water. I am water. According to Dr. Mitchell, the brain and the heart contains 73% of water. Our lungs, 83%. The skin contains at least 64% of water. Our muscles and kidneys, 79%. And even our bones contain 31%. And you think that with only drink 1 or 2 glasses of water, it's enough to give your body what it needs? According to the Adult Academy of Medicine, the men need to drink at least 2.7 liters of water, and the woman 2.2 liters of water per day. Many of us prefer to drink a hot chocolate, a cold beer, a coffee, a tea, a soda, a milkshake. But if we don't drink enough water, we can cause very serious problems health. And one of the most common that people really don't talk about is the kidney damage. According to a survey in 2018 in Mexico, 8 to 9 million of Mexicans suffer a kidney survey, and at least 100,000 of people requires a dialysis. My grandfather has a chronic disease, a chronic kidney disease. He used to drink a lot of beer and soda when he was younger, and only one glass of water. The last year, he almost died because of that kidney damage. And he said to me that when he was in the hospital, people on their 20s, 30s, and 40s has the same damage disease, the same chronic disease. I cannot imagine not being able to drink what I want and eat what I want because I have to require a special diet. And even not being able to go to the bathroom. I can do something about it. We can do something to avoid this chronic disease with only one simple change. Drink 2 liters of water. It can sound really difficult, but it's not. Maybe you can buy a 2 liter, maybe you can buy a bottle of 2 liters, or you can recycle one. Even you can add lemon to if you don't like the flavor of the water. With that simple change, you can improve your concentration, clean your skin, helps you prevent headaches. It can help you to prevent uh, and deliver oxygen to the body. Also to lose weight. Start to love yourself. You are the most important person in the world. And because I love myself, I take care of myself. And I take care of my body. I already start.
I thought she was, yeah, 4 minutes?
4 minutes, 50 seconds.
4 minutes, 50 seconds. Thank you. I thought you were just going to take one sip and like smile at us, and I was waiting for you to finish. Good job. Okay. All right. Adi, whenever you're ready.
Potato chips are one of the most popular snacks all over the world because we can find them everywhere, in a supermarket, in a store, and there are several brands with different flavors that we can enjoy. But what do you think if I tell you that this delicious junk food causes you serious health problems like high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes, and kidney disease? After doing an extensive research of this, I hope to persuade each of you to stop eating potato chips in order to protect your health. Despite potato chips are delicious and easy to get, according to a study of the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that I was reading recently, eating potato chips causes a high mortality rate. And this was demonstrated because it was a pilot test where researchers looked at 400,000 people with ages between 45 to 79. The participants consumed potato chips 2 or 3 times a week by over 8 years. And when the test finished, a total of 236 participants died due to the consumption of this product. But don't get confused when I say 8 years, because the consequences of eating potato chips are not long-term. Adrian Parondo, a nutriologist, states some harmful effects of potato chips that are developed after 5 seconds of consumption. And you are listening right, after 5 seconds of consumption. I want that you imagine the first bite that we give to the potato. This creates a sea of sensations as a result of its high salt content. And with this, we are increasing our blood pressure, and also we are increasing the necessity of eating more. After ingestions, the fat of potatoes will begin to travel through our intestine. The salt will be absorbed into the blood, and we will begin to feel thirsty. Meanwhile, the blood pressure will progressively rise, which can unravel future cardiovascular problems, just between 15 and 30 minutes after eating potatoes. Now, between 30 minutes and 2 hours after consumption, all fat become into acrylamide and dextrose. The first one is a chemical component that has the capacity to increase the multiplication of cancer cells. And the dextrose is a kind of sugar that has been linked to weight gain, metabolic dysfunction, heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. And these components together will cause digestion difficulties. And thanks to the digestion difficulties, between 2 hours and 6 hours after the consumption, the risk of being obese starts, because the oils from the potatoes will begin to be processed in the digestive system. They will access our body in the form of fat cells, which will stay in our body for a long time. And now, after everything, blood pressure will remain higher than normal for many hours or even days after consumption of these potatoes. On the other hand, the kidneys will be forced to make an extra effort to eliminate the excess salt from our body, making that our kidneys deteriorate more and more every time. And now we are exposed to any disease. And all of this only because we decide to eat a bag of potatoes. And if it doesn't scare you because you think that you are young and that you can eat everything, this is not real. In 2018, a team of researchers from the University of Brescia has concluded that eating 2 or 3 servings of potato chips per week can double the risk of premature death in people of any age. But fortunately, you can ward against this risk by making simple changes if you stop eating potato chips. And if you think that it could be a difficult task, the freelancer Bridget Coila, specialized in nutrition, states that there are different ways to substitute potato chips, like baked potato chips and tortilla chips, because they tend to be lower in calories and fat than fried chips. And also, drinking water will help you to reduce your anxiety of eating potato chips. I want to share with you that I have tried these changes, and I am loving the results in my body and in my health. These changes will help protect your health, protect your heart, your blood, your kidneys, and of course your appearances. Why not? And now, since today, I want to start in looking at you as your best friend. Start looking at you as the most important person in your life. Start loving you, and mainly stop eating potato chips.
How long was that?
5 minutes, 56 seconds.
5:56. All right. Jesus, whenever you're ready.
During these hard times, we'll want to be protected, like spread, even by people they don't know that they're infected. That's why it's really important to wear a mask in public settings. The best way to protect us is by wearing a mask. They are recommended as a simple barrier to prevent respiratory drops from traveling into the air and onto other people when the person who is wearing the mask coughs, sneezes, talks, or even when they raise their voice. And of course, it is not going to be the same if we wear an effective mask than if we were maybe pretty but useless face mask. Look at these two images. How would you feel if I told you that the person in the left is putting his life in danger because his face mask is protecting them just between 1 and 35%, and the other one, the man with the yellow jacket, even though he's surrounded by a higher number of people, he's actually safer because he's wearing a KN95 mask that is protecting him 60% more from a virus. Researchers from the University of Cambridge have tested the effectiveness of different masks at high speeds or heavy breathing. The results shows that the cloth masks are made of multiple layers, were effective but just in a low percentage, and it can be more effective when we use more than one layer, but it is also difficult to find them. These masks may seem pretty, and maybe they can match with your outfit because of the color, but they are not going to protect you in an efficient way against the virus. Medical mask is not designed to be used more than once. We're supposed to throw away the mask after wearing it. A medical mask can filter about 60% of just the small particles. A KN95 mask offers more protection than a cloth mask or medical mask because it can filter large and small particles when the user breathes. As the name indicates, the mask is designed to block 95% of small and large particles. Getting infected by COVID is something extremely serious. You might think that that's not going to happen to you, that you're not going to get infected, or if you do, that you're going to get cured. And maybe yes, but what happens if you infect your grandmother or your father? They're just not as strong as you. You're probably putting their lives in danger because you just wanted to use a cloth mask because you like its color or its design. The use of a face mask is not only for you, it's to protect your family. Taking everything into account, if you really, really want to take care of you and take care of your family, you need to wear an effective face mask that has all the requirements to keep you safe from any type of virus, especially COVID-19. It doesn't matter the color or the shape of the mask, but it is important it, that it needs to be a good mask that can filter at least 50% of the small particles in the air. Some people might say that when they are wearing a face mask, people cannot hear them. But as you can hear right now, there's no difference in the sound. You can hear me well. And if we are talking by a video call, there's no difference in the sound, except that right now I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of my family. In 2020, wearing a face mask is not an option. It's an obligation. You decide to breathe by yourself or being intubated to be able to do it.
429.
429. Okay. All right, Ismael, whenever you're ready.
I am pretty sure you know what is the most famous word in the current months. Of course, the answer is coronavirus. It's awful for us not to see our friends, not to go to school, and not to see our loved ones. We don't have fun anymore. But as I told you before in my last speech, technology goes on very quickly. And the solution to have fun and say goodbye to the stress is playing Among Us. I have been concerned about this problem because as you, I am a student. And as you, I have developed stress because of homeworks. So we have to act right now because it's a question of health. But first of all, let's have a look in the problem. Since coronavirus exists, we have to take classes online, which we already know that is pretty hard. Also, we have to stay at home a lot, and it's bored for us. We have to do a lot of homework and duties, and we, as students, we already know that develop stress, and we are not happy about that. Once that we solve the problem, let's have a look in the perfect solution that I told you before. Among Us is the perfect game for you, also for your phone. First of all, it is free. Also, it is not heavy for your phone, and it is easy to control because the only thing you need is touch your display or your phone and smash buttons. That's pretty simple for you. The only need you need is to have internet or use your data. That's all you need. So there are no excuses to play. Among Us is a game and you are like a little tiny astronaut. There are two options to be. First of all, you could be part of the crewmate. That you have to do some task in order to save the ship and also find the imposter. And on the other hand, you could be the imposter, that you have to sabotage the ship and kill everyone. That it is a feeling that when you kill everyone or when you are murdered by someone, you could say that, oh, how she can even kill me? I can't believe it, she do it. Next, Among Us is a game. It's a perfect game to spend time with yourself or with your friends. Because first of all, you could decide your own character. First of all, you could decide if your character is going to be blue, yellow, pink, whatever you want. Or you could decide if you are going to wear something in your head. It could be a hat, it could be a rose, it could be hair, whatever you want. Also, you have to call your character. It could be your real name, like Fernanda, Xochitl, Ismael, or you could decide a funny name that in English they are not as good as they are in Spanish because we have the double sense, and that is pretty cool. Everyone has a competitive spirit, and we already know that because we are human beings and it is in our nature, winning and winning. For example, when we were in our target language 5 in our previous classes, teacher asked us to find the one who received the message, and to find the one who belonged the secret. I know you remember that because you blame on me about that I like my cousin. And that's pretty cool and that's pretty funny because we laugh a lot and we have a great time. That is exactly what happened to Among Us. Finally, when it is time to have a meeting, it is the most important and funniest part because we have the power to vote who stays in the game or who is out of the game. Convincing are our strongest weapons because we can interact with our friends. For example, we could say that, oh Belen, I saw you how you kill Alejandro and you run away from that and you escaped. Or you could swear for your life that I'm begging you, I am not the imposter, you have to believe me. That is the funny part and we laugh a lot. So in conclusion, I encourage each one of you to play Among Us. We cannot see our friends and loved ones. But if you want to have a great time and take a huge grade about the homework, stress, and duties, Among Us is your solution. So it is up to you.
Five minutes, 18 seconds.
5:18. Okay. Great. Smile. Okay. Bere, whenever you're ready.
Have you ever wondered how Chinese language works? According to your responses in the questionnaire, you think that Chinese is difficult to learn because of the writing system. But recently I came across with this TED Talk conference of Heidi Shui about the characters, and she said that we only need 8 characters in order to create new ones. And I was shocked, like, is it really that easy? Then I decided to start learning Chinese because it offers us a lot of opportunities. And one of the main reasons is that I want to go to China, Singapore, Hong Kong, or Taiwan, and I want to see all of the culture by myself. Aren't you interested? But first, I want to learn some Chinese, so I don't want to happen this to me like these guys. These videos are from Alan por el Mundo YouTube channel.
Probablemente aquí diga no pasar es muy peligroso, pero no leemos chino y no tenemos idea.
So I want to start by telling you that Chinese is one of the most spoken language in the world, according to the Ethnologue. With over 1 billion speakers, you're guaranteed to meet native Chinese speakers all over the world. Also, according to the International Monetary Fund, in February 2020, China's economy has developed more over in the last 4 years. So there are now countless professionals opportunities for you. And there is something interesting. Chinese grammar is easier than you think. Unlike French, German, Spanish, or English, you have to in Chinese you don't have to memorize verb tenses. Only you have to memorize one word. This means see. Another example, while in English you have to distinguish between cats and cat, in Chinese you only need this form, mao. Chinese conveys these distinctions in other ways, of course. Now, you may wonder how to start learning Chinese, and there are some steps you should follow so learning Chinese don't turn out into a difficult process. First, you have to focus on pronunciation. You have to learn Pinyin, which is the official system to transcribe sounds into a Latin alphabet. Then after you're familiar with Pinyin, you can start learning vocabulary words. So it is worthy if you invest some money in an online course, as well as me, that I'm doing an online course for the HSK proficiency test, and I'm learning grammar and the 150 characters needed for the first level. Now for the writing system, which is called Hansi, you think it is difficult, but it's not. You should learn the simplified characters instead of the traditional ones. You don't want to memorize more characters, do you? Chinese characters are not just random designs. They contain patterns that appear over and over, and each character can be broken down into components, and you can combine them to others and form new characters. So the more you learn, the easier it gets. Once you learn a set of components, your ability of forming new characters will grow exponentially. Now, imagine being able to communicate while you are visiting those Chinese-speaking countries, and not only them, you can come across native Chinese speakers around the world. And this is an example. This girl is Mexican. She has been living for the last 10 years in China, and she works as a businesswoman. Also, this girl is Mexican. She has her YouTube channel and she shares her experiences. She moved to China to work as an English teacher. And what do you think they moved to China? Their main reason was that they watched Chinese dramas and they wanted to know more about this culture and the language. As I said before, Chinese is now a language which offers you a lot of opportunities, and the language itself is really interesting. Now, I encourage you to start learning Chinese. It's not a difficult task if you set it as a goal. You have to start practicing the pronunciation, then memorize vocabulary words, and also you should join an online course. And my favorite one, you should watch Chinese dramas. By doing these steps, you will be able to start speaking Chinese in a few weeks. And don't be afraid of the writing system. As long as you practice it, you will recognize and be able to write any characters. So, Junbei Halema, are you ready?
How long was that?
5 minutes, 24 seconds.
Thank you. Where's Belen? There. Belen, Bere, sorry. Okay. Nicole, whenever you're ready. Nicole's not here. Ashley, whenever you're ready.
Most of us spend a lot of time doing activities for school. We do a lot of homework. Sometimes we have homework about recording a video, and we spend a lot of time doing that. Sometimes we have homework about as answer a questionnaire, and we have to read a lot, and we have to analyze it to have good answers. We spend time searching for information that we didn't understand before at all, or we search information that can help us to the next class. We, but we never realized that we never spent 5 minutes, 10 minutes taking time for us. We are always thinking in the activities that we have to do in the school. We never have 10 minutes for take a nap. And this is a big problem that most of us have. According to, well, and more now with the pandemic, we have more of anxiety problems because we have to send a lot of homework. Sometimes we have three homeworks at the same time, the same day, the same hour, and sometimes we just collapse. Some teachers send us the homework 1 hour after the timeline, and we just get stressed about that. And we never have time for us. According to Harvard University, taking 10 minutes for having for take a nap can help us a lot, can help us to improve our knowledge, can help us to be more creative. And obviously, if you take more than 10 minutes, it could be better for us. If you spend 10 minutes taking a nap, can be better because you can increase more your creativity, you can be better in your homeworks, and you can get better grades. But the reality is that most of us don't do that because we think that we don't have enough time. But if we think that, we really have it because when we have a break, we just spend that 10 minutes or more than 10 minutes in social networks. We are in Facebook, we're in Twitter, we are in Instagram, losing our time and instead of being relaxed and being more concentrate to be instead of being in our bed and getting relaxed. Mm, Other people said that they don't do this activity because they think that it's for lazy people. But let me say to you that according to academic of sleep in America, said that a lot of people that we know that made that apart something too important for our life nowadays take naps. One of that people were Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, Churchill, Winston Churchill. And if you think all of that persons were not lazy, they just take a nap because they start to when they take a nap, they start to be more creative. And nowadays we have a lot of apps that they made. They say that for they is essential having a nap. Mm, most of us were suffering anxiety because we have to make a lot of homework, because we have to study for exams. And well, that happened to me 2 years ago. I was studying the career of nurse, and here I have a photo of my hair. I have alopecia. My hair start to fall out in the point that I start to feel me bad because my appearance, because I had to be a lot of time in the hospital. I didn't have time for me. And when in that time I went to the doctor, and the doctor said to me that the only people that was causing this alopecia was me. That that what I should do is just take a nap and rest for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. And well, when I started doing that, I had good results. Then I realized there that I was not the only one that had that problem. This was a case for other students. He was always trying to get the best notes, and she just collapsed. She just started to lose their head. I have other case here about adult, but he was a student, and he started to feel like too stressed because he was with younger people, and he started to feel that he couldn't realize the career. Other problems that cause don't take naps are car crash. In this case, when I was in the hospital, there were a guy that unfortunately died because he was trying to go to the OXXO to take coffee, but in the moment that he went, he just slept, and well, he unfortunately died. Here is another picture about that tragic moment because the car was completely destroyed. And well, most of us as students have a lot of dark circles. As we can see, this is a picture of one of my of the person with that I study the career of nurse. And well, as we can say, these were their eyes after he started the career, and well, that was before in during the career. And it happened because we didn't take a nap. We always have to take in more information about that career, because as you know, we have to do it more practice and practice for because we need it. Here I have other picture about that problem, about the dark circles. And well, I have other picture, and this picture is difficult to show you because was one of the most impact that I have when I was in studying the career of nurse. This person was his hand got stuck in the toaster because he just slept. He spent all night study for an exam, and well, unfortunately, his fingers were like too danger. Their fingers were had a lot of problems, as you can see. And unfortunately, we recovered and we're caught that. But well, as we can see here is the guy. and he learned that he have to that he should have to spend time doing taking a naps, because we can have a lot of accidents. As we can see, a guy died just for 1 minute of close her eyes. And in conclusion, what I wanted to say is that take care of you, take care of your health. I know that we have a lot of pressure because we have to study, we have to do activities. But the most important here is that you should take just 10 minutes for taking a nap. And well, now I have to go for taking a nap. So
Oh, no,
thank you.
you stopped there. You stopped. That was it. Okay. All right. Fernanda, how long was that?
10 minutes, 2 seconds.
Exactly. I sent you a message in the chat. You didn't see it. I was asking you, how long is that? Because that seemed like forever. That
Oh,
seemed
sorry,
like
I didn't
forever.
receive that.
No, I didn't send it to you. I sent it to Fernanda asking her what time it was. You, Ashley, should have been watching the clock on your computer, on your watch, wherever you are. You should have been seeing that. Okay. Let's start from the beginning because I don't want to start with that one because it didn't start bad, but it just kept spiraling down the drain. Okay. Sochi, much better speed. Much better speed. Yay. That was amazing. That was very good. Good attention step. Um, good hand behind. I'm like, what does that mean? When you showed your headset, you put your hand behind. That's what a lot of people do because your earphones are white, your wall is white. So we have something. It would be even better if you took something maybe that was more stable and made more, not like that, made more contrast to show, but that's a good thing to do. We'll try not to use our hand, but still good doing it. Good demonstration, good pictures. The only thing we have to be careful with this is when we talk about decibels, we have to illustrate that point for our students. You mentioned there a certain number of decibels. Do you remember?
Yes, it
How
was
many?
85 to 110 decibels. And actually, I was planning to show a chart, but the use of the PowerPoint presentation just disconcentrate me from the speech.
Okay. When we talk about decibels, I think the chart would have helped because it probably showed like different noises, you know, a car horn and the camotero and you know what I mean? Different noises. So what's equivalent? What's equivalent to 85 to 100 decibels?
110 decibels is a concert. It's a rock concert.
Okay. All right.
For that reason, I said people that listen at maximum level means that they are having a personal concert in their
A personal
ears.
concert, right? Okay, that's what we need, an illustration of the decibels because we say 60 decibels, 80 decibels, and really we don't get an idea of what it is. But yeah. You said stop using earphones excessively. Have you read Animal Farm? The original commandment was no animal shall drink alcohol, and then it was changed to no animal shall drink alcohol in excess. And so that excessively is very subjective to that. But I liked your 60-60 rule that kind of puts a limit on what it is that they can do. So very nice, very nice. Miguel, do you have any pictures of when you were heavier?
I have to look for them.
Twice, 3 times, you mentioned that you had been heavier and your doctor told you to lose weight. I look at you and I say, I can't imagine you being any heavier. If you had showed us a picture, of course, not like that, right? You would have showed it nicely in PowerPoint. But yeah, I mean, that would have really added because a couple times you said that you were heavier, and I'm going, yeah. And that really would have added to your credibility there. Okay. You did a nice job. You did a nice job. I think you needed to focus on visualization. I don't think you scared us enough. And this is the thing. We need to be scared. First of all, Xochitl, you made my ears itch with that picture that you showed. Did anybody else have itchy ears after that? That was terrifying. That was disgusting. And you're sitting here going, okay, okay, that's long enough. I don't want to look at it anymore. Exactly. Okay. We need to scare people. So every time I think now, for a while at least, when you put your earphone in, you're imagining that picture. You're thinking about that picture and you're going, I'll clean my earphones after it. I will. I swear I will. Okay. And I didn't hear the same, like the fourth risk factor. Number four, it's not number one. You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem to scare us enough. And a lot of times we need to be scared. We need to be scared. Okay. But I still like the idea of it, the topic, the way you presented. You you had more emotion in your voice today than other days. You did better. You did better. That's still something I think you have to continuously work on, although it was better today than other times. So good for that. Good for that. Belen, I wasn't sure where you were going in the introduction until you held the book up. And then I said, oh, yeah, reading. That's right. Okay. I like the way you use that instead of there's an app for that from your readings, you used there's a book for that. So I thought that was very nice that you use that influence. I like the fact that you're trying to convince your audience to read. I thought you did a very nice job today. I thought you did a nice job. I think this was one of your best jobs that you did in your speeches. What I noticed right away is that it was much easier to understand you today. You were separating words and you were taking your time with each one. You didn't run everything together, and that was great. It was much easier to understand you. Right? I did get a little chuckle out of the future of the country and what was it? The developed country, that we want to be a developed country. Expand on that. Okay. But what other kind of benefits can they, I mean, specific benefits of reading can they get? They can be more interesting to people. They can learn more about things. They know more about other things. They're a walking jeopardy. How many of us watch a movie and we don't realize there's a book that was based on? How many of you have read a book that was completely different from the movie? And you said, I liked the movie before, but oh my God, the book makes the movie look terrible. And there's just so much more contained in the book. These are the incentives for reading, right? This is what we need to focus on. Okay. But it seemed today that everyone is more active in the house. Your family is more active this morning. Is that true? Belen, especially in your case. I never hear noise in Belen's, but this morning somebody was back there talking or doing something. Fortunately, it wasn't enough to completely distract us, but it seemed there were a couple other places. I forget, we'll come to it and see who it was. A couple of other speakers who I also heard people in the background. I'm going, everyone's very active this morning. Just the morning you have to have your microphone on, everyone's making noise in the background. But Belen, you did a very nice job this morning, a very nice job. Good for you. Good for you. Nati, I loved your air of mystery in the introduction, just as we had practiced at the beginning of the semester. Okay. You be careful not to, when you started your presentation, you paused. Now, I think it's better to pause as you're starting a presentation, your PowerPoint. It's better to pause than to use fillers. Or like me, I talk to myself when I'm doing that. So it's better to pause, but it's even better if you plan the beginning of your presentation so that as you're ending the first part, you're putting up your presentation in PowerPoint, which means you continue giving your presentation as your PowerPoint is opening up, meaning that you don't have to stop. So for now, because you're still starting, you're still new in this, it's better to do what you did, to stop speaking while you put your PowerPoint up. But eventually, you're going to want to get enough practice and enough experience to be able to continue speaking as you're putting up your PowerPoint so that now when you're ready to talk about what's on your PowerPoint, it's ready. Okay? So it's better to pause like you did today, but eventually you'll be able to do much more than that. Portuguese subtitles on your slides. Was anyone else trying to read the Portuguese that was on the slide? No? Some of you were, some of you weren't. Right away, the Portuguese. Now, the English subtitle was good because we were able to see what she said, right? And I think in the Portuguese subtitle, it just said no, something like that. But still, I'm going, is that Portuguese? Ah. And for some reason, I was strangely distracted by that. Okay. I don't know if you mentioned in what period of time the series takes place.
No, I forgot it.
I think that's what was missing, because it's a series that shows problems, as you said, problems that we're living today, but in a period of time where women would never have imagined doing what they did. You know, sexual harassment would never have been stood up to during that time. So I think knowing the time period there would have been important. I wish I hadn't seen the series, because I would have loved to have heard your presentation, not having seen it. So can anyone here who has not seen the series, can you give me very quickly an impression that you had? Do you think you'll watch it? Do you think she persuaded you?
Me, teacher, I haven't
Uh-huh.
watched it. And now that she told us what is this series about, I think I would like to watch it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because at first I didn't know that this series is about all of that topics. I just heard that many people is watching it, and I was like, okay, I don't know, but
Right.
Nati explained us all about the series.
Right. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, actually, in my questionnaire, I mentioned the period when this story was carried out, and also many people in my questionnaire wrote that they are now interested in the series because of all the topics that it has, and it really has a lot of topics to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And some others wrote that they are not interested in that kind of topics, but the majority of them said that, oh, it looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, we wouldn't want to depend on the questionnaires to give them information about the time period. We need to say that again here in the presentation. Okay. But good, because it's very different hearing the speech when I've already seen it than if I had not seen it to be able to. Sophia, you look beautiful. You look fantastic. Where is Sophia? There she is. Oh, now you look very different with your blanket on and your hair down. No, I can't. No, I can't. I wanted you to sing, "What have you done for me lately?" but very Janet Jackson. Ooh, 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 yeah. Because I loved you looked fantastic, but you looked very Star Trek, very outer space kind of thing. Okay. But I liked it. I liked the look. Give me, what time is it? 45. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry about that. Okay. So I wanted to see a very Janet Jackson like and very, but I love the way you're able to use that screen behind you for your visual aids, right? I would have liked to have seen the pictures a little closer because those pictures of the kidney looked really disgusting. And I would have liked to be like, wow, that's really great. But very good. All right. I was persuaded. I was persuaded by yours. Yeah. You used good pauses. You used your testimony from your grandfather, talking about the health problems, giving a couple of ideas about how to do it. I thought it was very persuasive. Ari opens up by saying, potato chips. Wow, no mystery there. Potato chips. That's what I'm talking about today. How we I think that we could have used a little, like, I bet you can't eat just one, right? It's America's favorite snack. It's Mexico's favorite snack. Put some Valentina on there and we're ready to go, and kind of making some craving mystery there. Potato chips. Okay. Now you said, I hope to persuade each of you. That's the equivalent in persuasion of saying, today I'm going to talk about. So we want to avoid saying, today I'm going to persuade you, because what happens if you don't persuade us? 5 seconds, really? 5 seconds? In 5 seconds, I still have them in my mouth. All right? 5 seconds, they're in my throat. You know what I mean? I think you had medical research behind that. Okay, the 5 seconds. So if that's medical research, okay, fine. But they were talking about like the intestines and how long does it take to the potato chips to get to the intestines, and a sea of sensations. Are these your words?
I'm sorry.
Are these your words? Were you using your words in your presentation?
Yeah, yes, teacher.
A sea of sensations?
Yeah.
And there's the phone again.
I'm
We had it
sorry.
twice during your presentation. Yeah. All right. I didn't think those were your words. A lot of words there just didn't seem that they were yours. So now the funny thing is, and this is what we have to, you didn't scare me enough. And actually, as you were talking, I'm thinking, I think I got some potato chips over there. No, it's too early. I can't do that. But wait, I'm an adult now. And if I want to have potato chips for breakfast, I'm going to have potato chips for breakfast. So the whole time I'm starting to think like, I'm hungry for potato chips. It didn't quite have that scare enough. And that's it. That's just it. We really have to scare our audience. Okay. Now, participants dying after 8 years. That was one of the studies that you gave. But was the only difference they made, the only thing that was wrong with them was the potato chips?
Yeah, because the participants were observed by over 8 years, and they have to eat two or three portions of potatoes every week. And the study says that they were observed like over the 8 years, and after before the test starts, they were like testing by and check their health, and check their blood, and they were like observed everywhere.
I just,
And
because when I was in college, I mean, that's 4 years, well, 4.5 years that I was in college, I, I ate potato chips. And I'm sure 4 years after that, I ate potato chips, and I'm not dead yet. So I know these are medical studies, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't quite believe that's the only factor that they had or the only thing that was different. I would love to see the research. I would love to see if you could share the research with us. I would love to see it. I'm very interested in that. Okay. Jesus, give me a synonym for really important. Can anyone help him? Give me a synonym for really important.
Essential.
Crucial.
Essential, crucial,
vital.
vital, right? Essential, crucial, vital. Do you see? My God, Fernanda. I'm talking about being hungry for potato chips. Oh, Lord. Essential, vital, crucial. You see how much stronger these sound than very important. And this is what we have to do. Somebody else also said pretty something, pretty simple. Ismael, pretty simple. What's a synonym for pretty simple? Anyone?
Easier.
Easy? Because we're not comparing it with anything. Easy, basic, simple. But the word pretty is the most informal that we have of those kind of modifiers. Even if we said very simple, quite simple, rather simple, it would be better. But pretty simple is more informal than what we need. Okay. I felt like this was better. This was better than your other presentations. All right. This was better. But I just don't think you're scaring us enough about the need for a face mask that protects as much as those do. I know some of us have had impact from coronavirus. Some of us have had coronavirus. Our families, we might have had people die due to it. But right now we're getting to a point where we're feeling a little more relaxed about this virus. We're feeling like it's disappearing, it's going away. And so what I think you needed to do more than anything was scare us that it's still here. It's still here. The death rates are at the same level now as they were at the end of the first spurt. Okay. I just don't think there was enough focus on the virus as such. Okay. And you said there was no difference in the sound. How many of you agree? Who agrees that there's no difference in sound between having a face mask on and not having a face mask on? Who agrees there's no difference in sound? Okay, no one raised their hand, exactly. I liked what you were trying to say. I liked that you were saying, you can still understand me. You can still hear me. Okay. However, there is a difference in sound. There is a difference in how well we can do it. We can still hear you. We can still understand you, but there is a difference. So we have to be careful saying there's no difference when there is. but rather you can say, even though I have my face mask on, you can still hear me. You can still understand me very well. All right. Now, the problem is, this is very personal to me because I have trouble understanding people with face masks. Because Jesus, when you were speaking with your face mask on, you were speaking loudly and you were speaking clearly. The problem is people don't do that. And they go, blah, 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 and you're going, what did they say? Because I can't understand them. Okay? But I thought this was much better, much better. The only thing is, one of your slides was, first of all, a couple of your slides was not necessary. You need to stop using slides if they're not necessary. I like the slide where you compared the face masks. Which one was doing a better job? Yes. I don't remember what the slide was after, and this is the problem. If we don't remember what the slide was, it was probably not necessary. But you have a habit of putting up slides that are just pictures. And the last one, the one in the hospital, that's what it was. The one in the hospital. Okay, it was good. Boom, there it is. Take it out. And the last one was not necessary at all with all the people with their face masks on. So hospital, boom. And that's the end of the PowerPoint. The rest would be you. Okay, so good job. We're out of time. Well, I'm actually over time right now. So Ismael and Betty, Ashley, we'll take a look at yours tomorrow, and I'll try and get these evaluations up as soon as possible so that you can see how you're doing. All right. The only thing I want to say quickly here is we cannot end persuasion with, so it's up to you. That's like saying, do whatever you want. I tried to persuade you, but do whatever you want. Okay. And how do we say the instrument that you apply to your classmates to get their opinions and their knowledge about it? What's the name of that instrument?
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire. Questionnaire. Remember, you're at a point where the word questionnaire should be automatic in pronunciation, and we should not be saying it questionnaire, as we have said 100 times already. All right. Overall, I felt this was a very good job today. It was a very good job. I felt that you're getting the handle. Persuasion takes time. It takes practice. Keep practicing it. Keep working on it. Right? Overall, this was a good job. Just remember that you really have to work to persuade us. These are habits that we've had all of our lives now. My life has been longer than yours. If we're not drinking enough water, we've been not drinking enough water for years. If we're not eating correctly, we've been not eating correctly for years. So these are habits from a whole lifetime that you want to change in one speech. Make us change. Make us change. All right. Any questions? Any questions for tomorrow? Wonderful. If not, then I will see you tomorrow. Those of you who presented today, you can relax. Those of you presenting tomorrow, here's the bar. It's up here pretty high. Right? Have a wonderful one. I'll see you tomorrow then.
Yeah.
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 Bye-bye.
Turn.
See ya. Have a good one.